I gave him a loan of $200 for his gas and expenses.
Dating a coworker came at a price.
Next.
$100 for gas and food.
When was the next loan?
May 11th for his gas, food, lodging.
And it cost him his reputation.
She spread a lot of rumors about me in our workplace.
That he was incompetent and could not do his job.
Well, maybe that's true. He had to borrow money for food and gas. Would that make him competent?
Judge Judy.
Miss Simpson, you and Mr. Stubbs were business associates in the insurance business.
That is correct.
And sometimes boyfriend and girlfriend dated, but not anything serious.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And your claim is that you made some loans to Mr. Stubbs over a period of time. He paid you back some, but not all.
Correct.
Mr. Stubbs seems to acknowledge that you did make certain loans to him, and he repaid you what he owed you. He has a silly counterclaim, which I let him address in 30 seconds or less. Okay, so explain to me when the first loan was to Mr. Stubbs and why.
March 27th, 2018, I gave him a loan of $200 while he was on a business trip in Eastern Washington. It was for his gas and expenses.
Tell me how that came about.
We were both on a road trip at the time. We were staying in Richland, Washington.
But that was business. You were
Yes.
there on business.
Correct.
You sell insurance?
Life insurance, correct.
And you work on commission?
Yes, we do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I made a loan to him of $200. He had asked for help with his lodging, food, and expenses, and he was expecting to be paid a good commission check the following week because we were on a road trip.
Did you give him the $200 in cash, or did you charge things?
Cash.
Do you remember that, Mr. Stubbs?
I can't say I do, Your Honor.
Well, if you can't say that you do, and if she remembers it, then she gave you $200.
Does she have proof?
Just a second. She doesn't have to have proof, sir. I have to make a judgment. If
Yes,
she
ma'am.
gave you $200 in cash, and she said that she did, that you didn't have money on a road trip, that you had a commission coming in next week, she had no problem with that. She gave you $200. I asked you, and you said, I don't seem to remember that. Well, if you don't seem to remember that, if you don't seem to remember that and she remembers it, then she doesn't need any more proof than that. I have to make a judgment as to whether she's making up the story.
Permission to speak, Your Honor. I have records of, like, all my bank records. I have records of many transactions between me and Rani. I don't have records of those cash transactions.
Oh,
so I
then
can't say I remember, just being honest.
Well, fine.
But yes, did she loan me some money? Yes.
Okay, so $200 was the first loan, and that was in March of 2018.
Correct.
Next.
April 6th, 2018. He needed a loan for his past due bills, or they were about to become past due. I can't remember which, but it had something to do with his car, either his insurance or his car note. He called me from his friend Thomas's house. He said that his friend Thomas only had $95 in cash. He specifically needed $400 in cash. So I sent his friend Thomas $95 through Cash App, which I do have evidence of here.
How much did you send him? $305?
I sent him a total of $395. I gave him $300 in cash, and $95 I sent to his friend, who then gave him $95 in cash.
Now, did you ask him when he asked you for money in April? He hadn't paid you money back from the $200 the week before. How did he say he was going to pay you back that money?
He was short to the company, so if we ever wrote policies that ended up canceling, we owed the company money. So he was getting cuts from his paycheck for those canceled policies. He said that he should be able to come back on top and start making more money after a week or two, just depending on how much money he made that week.
When was the next loan?
It was April 24th. I loaned him $100 for gas and food.
Where was that? Tell me about it.
I believe he was on a road trip. Now, it's hard for me to remember at this point. I think he was on a road trip and I was not, but I gave him $100 through Cash App.
Do you have a record of that?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Do you remember that, sir?
Yes.
Okay.